Greetings, fellow carbon-based bipeds. I am Scott Rose, and you are watching Explosions and Stuff. Today, I'll be reviewing the 2013 film Killing Season, starring Robert De Niro and John Travolta. An overview of the film is a veteran from the Bosnian War lives in isolation deep in the North Georgia mountains when a mysterious man from the war arrives, seeking revenge. The pros of this movie? John Travolta and Robert De Niro in this movie had great chemistry. Towards the beginning of the movie, Travolta's character was this overly friendly foreigner who was just visiting on vacation in town. And he was being really friendly, and De Niro's character, he was being polite, but it was clear that he wanted to be left alone, that he didn't really like interacting with people. And they worked well together. And then later on in the movie, when they were butting heads against each other, they were even more fantastic. Now, I'm the type of person that says that John Travolta doesn't act. He just gets a script and he John Travolta's his way through it. But in this movie, he actually acted. He actually had talent. It was weird. There were times I didn't believe that was actually John Travolta acting because he had talent. He was good. So I loved that about this movie. I also really liked how they used bows and arrows instead of guns. It was a risky move, and it paid off beautifully. It could have either done great or just failed. And in this case, it just worked out amazingly. The practical effects in this movie were fantastic, from different wounds to being shot with arrows to different torture methods that they showed. It was just fantastic. There were moments where I cringed, not because something was done badly, but because there was a visual effect, a physical, practical effect that was so good, it made me uncomfortable to watch it. I loved that about this movie. I also really liked how neither Travolta or De Niro was the good guy. You would think there would have to be a good guy because it's an antagonist and a protagonist, but neither one was the good guy. Both of them did horrible things to torture and maim the other one. It was beautiful. This is another thing that could have worked horribly against it, but instead it worked amazingly in its favor, and I loved that about this. The cons of this movie? Well, it did start out a little slow. Like, it started off with this little battle scene, which was great, but it was short. And then it moved on to establishing that Robert De Niro lives in North Georgia mountains, and Travolta comes there, and the two of them get together, and they just start hanging out and acting like the best of friends, or at least Travolta's acting like they're best friends, and De Niro's being polite. That goes on for what felt like half an hour. That really did feel like the first third of the movie. And it was just slow and drawn out. I didn't like it. It didn't last that long because once the action really got going, it was going. And it started suddenly. Like, it wasn't, oh yeah, slow build up. No, it just happened. Arrow flew out the air towards the guy's head, and that was it. It was go time. I also really didn't like how Robert De Niro's character, his accent just kind of came and went. He lives in the North Georgia mountains. He's going to have a southern accent because that's the area he's from. But this is also Robert De Niro, who sounds like Robert De Niro. So most of the time, he didn't have that southern accent. But there were times when he tried to put it in there, and it was out of place. It was unnecessary, and it hurt the film, I think. It kind of took me out of that suspension of disbelief moment. I also didn't really like the shaky cam like that they had whenever people were running or during battle scenes. I understand it's to make the scene feel more intense, but at the same time, if you go too far with it, it's disorienting and it's hard to focus on the action. And it didn't go over the top with the movement of the shaky cam. I just felt they used it too much. I also, to tie in with that, they did a POV shot of Robert De Niro rolling down a hill. Now, when I say POV, I mean the camera is looking through Robert De Niro's eyes as he's rolling down this hill. And so all you're seeing is scenery rolling and rolling and rolling. I hate moments like that. I hate scenes like that. They make me feel sick, like physically ill. I don't like them at all. My favorite fight scene in this movie? Well, this movie didn't really have any fight scenes. It was a lot of one person has the upper hand, and then like someone hits someone in the face with a rock, and then and then they switch who has the upper hand. It was a lot of moments like that where it's like one thing and then the next person gets the upper hand and they capture the enemy or they run away to safety. There wasn't really a lot of fighting. Normally that would bother me, but for this movie it worked and I didn't mind at all. I didn't even notice it until the end of the movie. My overall thoughts on this movie? This is one of the most unique movies I have ever seen. Most action revenge stories have like a particular template that they go by and they just stick little details in there. But this one had a completely original architecture and I loved it. I easily give this movie 2 thumbs up. It wasn't perfect. It did drag on a little bit at the beginning, but it more than made up for it with the rest of the movie. Normally, I hate John Travolta with all the fiery passion of hell. But for some reason, I loved him in this movie, which is something I never thought I would say. If you want an action movie that doesn't take place in a big city, or you just want a great action movie, period, check out Killing Season. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like it and subscribe to my channel for more action movie reviews posted every Friday. Also, if you have any suggestions for movies you would like to see me review in the future, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you and have a nice day.